Hello and welcome to Dateline Lagos on Channels Television. I'm Olumide Macaulay. Coming up on the program, Governor Sanwo-Olu flags off distribution of food palliative. State government trains 314 primary health care workers on mental health care. And Lagos State presents bond certificate to 644 retirees. The Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has flagged off the distribution of food palliatives items for vulnerable residents. At the flag-off ceremony at Lagos House Alausa, Governor Sanwo-Olu says the food bank program is targeted at 500,000 households to help cushion the effect of subsidy removal. Take a look.
It's the flag-off ceremony of the Lagos State Food Palliative Program, and the venue is the Lagos House, Ikeja. Representatives of different groups including the NUT, NLC, PLWDs, NUJ, religious groups and Loma workers are here for the symbolic handing over. Governor Sanwo-Olu joins the gathering, inspects the items, some already packed in boxes containing 10 kilogram rice, 5 kilogram beans and 5 kilogram bags of gari.
Before we formally hand over the palliative items to selected groups and associations.
He says the food bank program is targeted at 500,000 households and over 2,500 micro, small and medium enterprises, among others.
This is direct intervention to the citizens. It has nothing to do with public service or if you are in arm of government or not. No, these are interventions to the entire citizens of Lagos State. And so one of the measures which we announced and being formally flagged off today is the distribution of food items for vulnerable households through the Lagos Food Bank Program. The strategic goal of this program is to reach about 500,000 vulnerable households in the state with stable food items, which include two categories: bulk food items, which will be given some bulk distribution of 50 kg rice, 50 kg gari, and 100 kg beans for groups. The distribution of these food items to vulnerable households will be done in groups. We'll do it through different groups, through different institutions, different non-governmental organizations. We'll use your CDCs and CDA. We'll use the people living with disability and people that are under our social protection list, which is like our vulnerable register under the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, which we call the Social Register of Vulnerable. We'll also use our other various implementing agencies like the religious organization, the Christian organization, the Muslim organization, and all other bodies like that. But to set up the monitoring committee, so we have a monitoring committee. So government, we have set up a monitoring committee that has been drawn from various groups. So we have from the trade union, we have monitoring from people living with disability, from the CDC, we have from the religious bodies, the Muslim bodies and the Christian bodies, from the youth group. We have different representatives that we have chosen that will supervise, will ensure that it goes around all the various groups that we have identified and want to work with. So it's not Ministry of Agri, it's not the governor's office that is doing this. All of you will be part of it at that group level. And so we'll also be making sure that we do it in phases so that we don't have any congestion, in the distribution process, which is a total plan. And when it's time for each group, various, maybe you are a member of it, but various contacts will be made to ensure that this is the place where, or the day in which this group is coming to take theirs, and the point of collection and the date for collection will be announced from within the committee. In total, the overall initiative will directly impact, like I said, about 500,000 benefiting households with over 2,500 micro, small, and medium enterprises which are involved in bag manufacturing, food aggregation, packaging, while over 25,000 MSMEs also will be directly impacted. I'm therefore appealing for the continued understanding of our citizens, all Lagosians, with assurance that we'll do everything within our capacity to implement measures that will cushion this temporary pain, and will continue to initiate programs and projects that will uplift our people and provide quality living for all.
Some of the beneficiaries who received their packages commend the state government for the support.
We very much appreciate the governor and his government for this palliative distribution. We are assuring him that it will get to the people for whom they are meant. We will make sure that it gets to the real people for which it was meant, because we know people are vulnerable and they need this thing. So we very much appreciate it, and we hope that it will go a long way in alleviating the challenges people are facing in the wake of removal of fuel subsidy.
Our member names have been submitted, and most of them are even here. So, and we are here to make sure that at least all of them got it. And anyone that they bring in the group will be equally shared among the beneficiary here. So we are just here to make sure that for the fact that we are representing NLC, and make sure that our members receive it.
The Lagos State government says a monitoring committee will be set up to supervise the distribution process, which will be carried out in phases across the 5 Ibile divisions of Lagos Island, Ikeja, Badagry, Ekpe, and Ikorodu.
The Lagos State government says integrated mental health care services in primary health care centers is imperative. The Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Ministry of Health, Dr. Olusegun Ogboye, who made this comment during the health workers training at Alausa, says incorporating mental health care services into PHCs aims to address the issues at the grassroots level.
Sometimes, even without knowing.
Primary healthcare workers in Lagos State converge on the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Alausa, Ikeja, for a mental health capacity training session.
Because in different places, people are still doing the same things. Tying them down, chaining them, because they believe that that's the best way they can get better.
This exercise, organized by the State Ministry of Health, is to help the health officials recognize and manage common mental disorders in patients.
Psychosis occurs frequently. And so if we have between 100 to 200 people, you will find one person that will have a psychotic episode. It may seem like a statistic, just like a number, but it happens. And you see, what happens is that beyond the person who is sick, everybody else suffers. Do we agree? Yes. I was driving towards Third William and I was trying to buy something in traffic, which I rarely ever do. And as I was giving the guy money, I just saw a mentally ill person sitting in front. And I thought about the fact that, what if this guy hasn't given me my change by the time I get there and this patient person? That's pressure for me. And this is me in the environment. But imagine that that person has a home, has a family, had a job. Many years ago, I managed a patient who left his job in Mina. He ran away from Mina because he believed that the people at the office wanted to kill him. So work suffers. Relationships suffer. Families suffer. We've had patients who have done some traumatic things to their families. Many years ago, we had this patient in Yaba who put children inside a container and set them ablaze. Psychotic.
According to the World Health Organization statistics released in January 2022, over 20 million Nigerians are currently suffering from various degrees of mental illness or disorder. For the project coordinator, the training is in line with the World Health Organization Mental Health Gap Action Program Intervention Guide.
We also have organizational integration, and part of what we're looking at is that hub and spoke model, where the primary care centers around general hospitals that have mental health services receive mentoring and guidance and supervision from them, and they're able to refer to those specialists, get backwards referrals as well once they complete the specialist care that they require, so they can get their day-to-day care at the primary care center that is closest to them. And on supporting them, of course, with the mental health helpline, both for themselves, because providers also need support. and sustainability and expansion. And we are looking at a future where all our primary care centers, flagships or not, are able to provide mental health services. All our general hospitals are able to provide some mental health services, and of course strengthening the functions that will be happening with our partners in LASUTH, the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, and in the near future, our major landmark facility that will be established in K2. The key activities for the project are essentially along these domains. The first part, of course, is developing that change mindset and change management that we want to implement. And the training, of course, is based on WHO's Mental Health Gap Action Plan Intervention Guide. That's what the GAP IG stands for. And we are focusing on 4 key domains at the moment. And as we progress and we upskill our staff, we're going to be expecting the opportunity for them to also be able to do more as they were. And I think it's important to also mention at this point that the enthusiasm that we have seen so far, especially amongst the community health extension workers, health officers, as well as the health educators, has been amazing and truly, truly inspiring.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Olusegun Ogboye, says the integration of mental health services in primary health care centers is critical towards addressing the comprehensive health needs of the people.
Even at secondary level, our mental health program is not as robust as it should be. We don't have enough psychiatrists, for one. We're even just trying now at state level to bring in the cadre of clinical psychologists who can do a bit more than regular psychologists and less than doctors. But if we had them, it would greatly strengthen our system. So that's something we're working on for trying to address the shortages we have with our psychiatrists. The other thing I wanted to say is referrals. The most important thing for any health professional in any field, is to know your limitations. Know that this is where I can get you up to. Beyond that, I'll pass you on to the next person. So this program does not empower us to start to treat the whole spectrum of mental illness. One, it does not empower us to treat even the spectrums the parts of the spectrum that we've been empowered to treat from beginning to end. There is a role that we have to play, and there's a point when we then pass the person off to the next level. What is important is that linkage, that exchange is done in a way that does not add to the trauma of this patient. That is something we really need to work on to make sure.
Some of the medical participants commend the state government for the knowledge they have gained.
I really appreciate Lagos State Ministry of Health for this training. So my take home is early observation of the symptoms of mental health, okay, and then early presentation to the health system, the facilities, and then, because they are bringing it to the grassroots, there's no need for stigmatization, okay? That's one of the take home, because you and I, another take home, is that anybody can be a victim of mental health.
I've learned that a lot of things we even see as normal mental illnesses. I've learned that we should not stigmatize people with mental illnesses, because even the stigma kills faster than the illness itself, or it can even destroy them faster than the illness itself. And I've also learned that we need to educate the community, because a lot of people are not quite oriented or aware about these things, and health education is really key. So when we orientate the community, when we orientate the people, it will be a safer space for all.
Over 300 health workers have been taught how to act as the first port of call in the management of several mental health conditions and when to refer to a higher health institution.
Lagosians, it is no news that the present administration of Mr. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu delivered projects in different sectors of the economy through the themes agenda. With this success in mind, the second term of the present administration has included social inclusion, gender equality, and the affairs of youths in its agenda. Now, we have the themes plus agenda. With this, no one is left behind on account of their social status, gender, or age. Lagosians, be prepared for another 4 years of a total revamp in all sectors. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, àjùmọ̀ṣe ni o.
And finally on the program, the Lagos State Pension Commission presents bond certificates to 644 retirees. The Director General of the State Pension Commission, Mr. Obilano Babalola, who presented over 2 billion naira entitlement to the retirees, says the Lagos State government appreciates them for their dedication while in service and asks them to reach to LASPEC for any pension-related issues.
After more than 3 decades in service to the Lagos State government, the latest set of retirees make their way into Necker House, Alausa, Ikeja, to receive their long service entitlement. Numbering well over 600, the men and women who had served for 35 years make up the 101st batch of retirees under the Lagos State government to receive retirement bond certificates. Before the presentation, an official of the Lagos State Pension Commission takes time to educate the pensioners on the difference between single and double-faced bonds that will be handed over to them.
Fún àwọn tó gbà ní ṣùgbẹ́ alright now ilé ìfowó dání sí yìí now àwọn tó gbà ní secondary school those employed at TESCOM or TEPO those employed at the ministry that do service formation when the ministry threw out your land that was when you started that was when you ended TESCOM you started there you ended there alright local government you started there you ended there your goal of whether you join service 80s or in the 90s, your bond automatically is a single phase bond. Because, why? It's about no pension, our relationship, so it's just a single phase bond. The last one you will see here is a bond with an attachment. A bond with an attachment. You can see swipe it down here. There is an attachment, alright? So, I want one name. After all, this is for someone. So, some of us here today will get an report. It will have an attachment. So, make sure I want to interstate transfer.
The retirement bond certificates have a total cumulative value of 2.2 billion naira. The Director General of the Pension Commission, Mr. Obilano Babalola, emphasizes the state government's commitment to protect the financial future of its workforce.
These retirement bond certificates symbolize more than just financial rewards. They represent the trust and confidence we have in our retirees. They are a testament to the lasting impact you have made. Your dedication has been the bedrock of the goal of a greater Lagos, and your hard work has set a high standard for those who will carry the state forward. Ladies and gentlemen, today the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu will present another set of 644 retirees with a sum of 2,017,008,548 naira, 51 kobo only, being the past service benefits prior to the commencement of the contributory pension scheme, the CPS, in 2007. And please be careful out there. There are people who would come with some quick wins to do that, that you make more money if you put that money into that. Please be very careful. Do not be in a hurry to spend the money. Take your time and decide the best way forward for you. And for our fathers, please don't use this money to go and take a young wife. I would like to thank Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who has worked assiduously to ensure the consistent payment of pension liabilities and the first-class service to our dear retirees. I'm sure within a week, your pension board administrators will notify you that your accounts have been credited. Please, before you sign any document, be sure that you are clear with what they have explained to you. If you are not clear, do not sign any document. Take it away from them, call us, and let us go to right with you. Don't let anybody force you to sign anything under duress.
Also addressing the retired workers, the Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Ministry of Establishments, Training and Pension, advised them to invest wisely and take good care of themselves.
As you are retired, whatever benefits you have is for you and your family, not for anybody else. And you must be very, very prudent. Before you do any investment, think very, very well. Do your research very, very well. You know, unfortunately, most of us, 35 years, every month, salary. We don't know how to invest. We don't know. So we run into that problem. Somebody will bring an idea to us. When you invest this, you will get so return. We'll be going to it. It's a big lie. So you have to be very, very careful. Once you become a retiree, your life must change. Some people don't want to realize that their life must change, and that is the beginning of the downfall.
The retirees are grateful for the prompt payment.
So happy. I thank God for today, and I thank God for the governor, the Lagos State Governor, Sanwo-Olu. I thank God for him, and I thank God for Lagos State, that I really appreciate them for today, what they have done. I worked for 35 years, and I thank God for what God has done for me, and I thank God for what I was given today. Because if this type of plan is not put in place, I bet you a lot of people might not be collecting their retirement money. But thank God for this type of plan, because they really explain for us. Before, I think pension at 207 and pension at 204, they really explain that if this type of plan is not put into places, there may be time when people will be retiring, they will not be able to collect their benefits. But we thank God that they put this measure in place, because if not, a lot of people will retire, they will not be able to get their benefits.
For serving Lagos State meritoriously for 35 years, should I say what they are being given, it is not how far but how well. You know, when you do something, you do it with all your heart, and you left the place without any blemish, it's enough. The monetary aspect, even those people who think money is everything, they get it wrong. So monetarily, well, I don't know how to quantify what I've been given, but in my heart, that I'm happy to collect the stipends that I'm being given.
This payment covers retirees' past service benefits before the introduction of the contributory pension scheme in 2007. It's part of the government's contribution to help them move forward in the next phase of their lives.
That's the program for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Olumide Macaulay. Stay safe.